For just 20 faith, I can make you a song, bro. Hello there, this is the voice of Sex, Dalek Sex speaking. Welcome to the pilot episode of Arse, the Lolacourse Adventures in Lordran. This is the pilot episode. It's intended primarily to test my shitty video recording setup and to give Bouncy an idea of how to quickly unlock the multiplayer settings so that he can jump in on this with us. Now, I'm creating a thief character here. The reason for that is the thief starts with the master key, but I also want black firebombs to be able to get the demon hammer at the rest of the game. So I'm choosing thief, I'm choosing black firebombs as my starting gift, and I am naming the character Grace Jones on the premise that all people in Dark Souls, once they go hollow, look exactly like Grace Jones in Vamp. There we go. I'm not sure exactly where this series is going to go. It might be shit and we'll can it very quickly. Or watching Bouncy get increasingly angry with the game is going to be hilarious and YouTube gold. I've skipped the intro, by the way. We are going straight to the Undead Asylum. And we are going to learn a couple of things that we need to do first off. Well, I think one of the first things I'm going to need to do is up the brightness for future recordings. Because I can't see shit, Captain. Right, you start off with a broken sword. That's useless, don't worry about that. Black firebombs come pre-equipped. Square button will throw them, or whatever you're using. The one on the left. Right, light the first bonfire. Now, as soon as we go through this door, we're going to get jumped by an unkillable boss. Well, is killable, but you only do one hit point to swing to it. So here's what we're going to do. Lock on him, get behind him so he can't hit us. Black firebomb. There we go. Black firebomb. Yeah, watch out for that backswing. It will ruin your day fairly quickly. Another black firebomb. And a fifth and final one. Oh no, there's the fifth and final one. Down he goes, we get the Demon Great Hammer, which is one of my favourite weapons. Now, you won't get the key to get out of this place just yet. We need to take a detour and talk to a chap upstairs. Just do a quick heal, because this is our only way of healing at the moment, resting at bonfires. Right, on the left is a shield. Nip aside, equip that. Now we can block those arrows, charge this archer at the top of the stairs, and pick up whatever the default weapon is for your class. I've chosen Thief, so we're starting with a crappy little fruit knife. Not that a crappy little fruit knife can't do some damage if you know where to stick it. There we go. That was attacking directly from behind, which does an automatic critical. Now through that cell door there, you can see Knight Oscar. Now we need to open that cell, so we're going to trigger a trap by running up these stairs. Jump off quickly. Boulder goes down there, wrecks a hole in the wall, and we can talk to this chap. Now normally Night Oscar just gives you the key to get out of here and your Estus Flask, which is your healing item. There's the Estus Flask, but because we killed the Asylum Demon early, he's also given us the key to get out of the Asylum itself. So we're just going to nip back to the room that we were just in. He's given us another broken sword. Hang on to those broken swords, by the way. You can upgrade them to Artorius' greatsword later on in the game if you're really so inclined. You can get the cursed greatsword of Artorius, which is one of the few weapons in the game that can hurt ghosts. But if you want to hurt ghosts a lot, then that implies that you actually want to spend time in New Londo, and that's just odd, because it's a horrible place. There we go, just jump off here and we're back in the room. We use the big pilgrim's key on this door, and that's the intro section all done. Game of Thrones was a bit disappointing this week, wasn't it? Season 4, Episode 9, The Watcher on the Wall. I mean, given that they gave us Ned Stark meeting the pointy end of a sword in Season 1, they gave us the Red Wedding in Season 3, Battle of Blackwater in Season 2. You know, not up to the Red Wedding, but still fairly spectacular. Game of Thrones Episode 9s just aren't what they used to be. Right, here we are at Firelink. This is the central hub for the game. I'm going to dump my stuff into Strength, because I eventually want to be able to use that Demon's Great Hammer. Probably also Havel's Great Shield as well. I'm going to try and equip the Demon Hammer now. Obviously I haven't got the stats to do it, because I want to illustrate how much slower you move when you're carrying a large equipment load. See, if you try rolling now, you just sort of like do a pathetic shiflollop. Now we're going down these stairs. Watch out on the left here. This is the Firekeeper. She keeps the bonfire burning. There are only three Firekeepers in the game. Anastasia there, the Maiden in Analondo, and the Fair Lady. And they are the only way you can upgrade your Estus Flask, and all three of them can be permanently killed. We're actually now going from close to the top of the game physically down to sea level. So the amount of... Oh, just one thing. Make sure you send the lift back up there by stepping on the platform in the middle. It's sort of like leaving the toilet seat down. Now this is New Londo, but we're not staying here because it's a horrendous place. We are going to turn right and go through this door here and unlock it with the master key that we get for starting as a thief. This is the Valley of the Drakes. It's full of dragons, baby dragons, and it serves as a rather neat shortcut between some of the area for some of the more annoying to get to areas of the game. I've gone the wrong way. Playing at this particular brightness level is definitely not a good idea. So yes, we will hop over that plank. You know, given that it's meant to be 1,000 years since this place was set up, I'm surprised these bridges are still there. If I turned right there, by the way, I would have gone straight down to Blighttown, which is not something you want to do at this point. But it's worth bearing the shortcut in mind. Now along here, we see a big, obviously dead dragon, no threat to us whatsoever, with lots of valuable and tempting items just inside his mouth and his claws. Obviously I don't need those items because I'm very good at the game, so I'm not going to attack him, but you can totally attack him when you do your playthrough. He's no threat to you whatsoever. Now down here we have our first Drake. It's very important to run up to him as quickly as possible before he gets his lightning breath off. Otherwise that is going to happen. Did I mention that I'd just come off a 12-hour shift when I recorded this video? Well, I had. So fuck all y'all. Don't worry, I promise that from here on in, if I screw up again, I'll simply edit it out. The chap there on the sitting by the bonfire is referred to as the crestfallen warrior. He's a bit of a depressing bastard, but he does give you practically the only exposition you're going to get in the game. There's him, who gives you your exposition at the start of the game, and King Seeker Frampt later on. Both pieces of exposition basically amount to kill more bosses, yo. He is unique in that he's the only exposition character that doesn't have an agenda, apart from listening to Tool and letting his mum cut his hair. The other exposition characters, King Seeker Frampt, Guinevere and Darkstalker Karth, are all working to their own agenda, and none of them can be trusted. Supposedly King Seeker Frampt will only awaken when the 2 bells of the undead are rung, but there's a hell of a lot of guys in the game that make reference to him. Several of the characters you meet will actually say that they know oh yeah, there we go, fuck you ugly. Sorry, got one there. Several of the characters say that they've spoken to him and they trust him. So for a dude that's meant to be asleep under the ground and only comes out every time the bells are rung, the dude has got about a bit, that's all I'm saying. Right, now what we need to be careful of after we've dodged the lightning breath is the tail, because he will spin round and knock you off that ledge. He's just done it to me, but he didn't get me, and he's just done it to me again. I think I actually soiled myself at that point, but we've got through okay. From here on it's plain sailing. Now we run up this mount here. If we'd gone left there, we would have gone to the other end of the new Londo level, but that has to be unlocked, either by going there in the second act of the game, or by going there now and murdering an NPC for the key. If you do murder that NPC for the key, then you get access to top-end weapons right from the start of the game. This brings us to the Darkroot Basin, which is very close to where we want to be. Right, go straight right, grab that. That's the Grasscrest Shield. You're going to get ganked by the Black Knight that lives here, but we'll respawn at that bonfire. Grasscrest Shield is one of the 4 must-have shields in the game, as far as I'm concerned. Now, you've got the Grasscrest Shield, first and foremost because it increases your stamina recovery rate, and stamina is just, you cannot overstate how important it is. The second is the Eagle Shield, which is, it has the stats of a heavy tank shield, but it can be wielded with very low stats. The other two are Havel's Great Shield, which is only really of any use if you're going to do a hardcore tank build, and the Black Knight Shield, which is the best shield that can parry rather than tank. And they are both very late in the game items. We're now making our way up these little paths, and that is going to bring us out at the arse end of the starting area, the Undead Burg / Undead Parish. And we'll end up meeting Solaire without having to beat the first boss. There's a crystal lizard. Watch out for those little guys because they drop awesome rare upgrade items. I'm bypassing that for now because I'm in a hurry before I humiliate myself again. Once we get to the top of here and go through the little passage, we're going to go left, and I'm going to keep my shield up. And that's exactly why. You got to watch out for those plant dudes. They're not a massive threat, but they do hit quite hard for this point of the game. They're also worth farming because they drop all the curative items. They drop the one that stops poison, the one that stops bleed, and the one that stops toxic. And the toxic one is very expensive in the shops. Now here we have a Andre of Astora. He's the first decent blacksmith in the game. The first blacksmith in the game, actually. He'll be important later. By the way, I should have mentioned back there, that was a lurking demon or titanite demon. You don't want to tangle with those unless you know what you're doing. So you just circle around them, and then when you're running away, you serpentine away from them so that you don't get jobbed in the back by their lightning. Right, we're now coming up on Sen's Fortress. This is a... oh no, we're not. We're coming up on the Undead... Oh no, we are in Sen's Fortress. The reason we've taken a little side trip to Sen's Fortress here, it's locked and you can't go in yet, but this is Sigmar of Katarina. If you talk to him here, you will kick off his plot line. His plotline is not only one of the best side stories in the game, but it gives you some fairly mad stuff, especially if you're choosing a faith build. Now then, making our way back. We'll go upstairs this time. Right, now if we look up and to the right, we will see the Undead Church. This is where the first bell of the Undead is. First one there, second one being in Blighttown. Now we're going to hang a quick right here and sacrifice ourselves. We're going to get ganked by a Black Knight again, but it's worth it because on that altar there is a Firekeeper's soul. They are a very limited item, and they let you increase the amount of healing that each Estus flask gives you if you take it to the Firekeeper and sacrifice it. I cannot overstate how helpful that is at this point of the game. Right, so I'm pretty sure I hacked out a quite sizable section here where I've got flattened by giant. I'm 99% sure that the giant pigeons in this game are a reference to the Sleepless Ram in book 4 of Steve Jackson's Sorcery. If you remember that. The sleeping with the Sleepless Ram sunk out of the shadow. Miyazaki has said his biggest influence was getting books when he was making Dark Souls. Right, down here we need to... fact that next to the lead kick this ladder and light the bonfire down here. There should be a fairly sizable dragon up here ready to breathe fire and toast you. Because we've used the shortcut, we haven't triggered that event yet. So we're going to run up the village underneath it. And here we have Solaire.
Ah, hello. You don't look hollow, far from it. I am Solaire of Astora, an adherent of the Lord of Sunlight. Now that I am undead, I have come to this great land. You find no need. Oh, I have a problem.
Answer yes to his question.
The way I see it, in a land. So what do you?
Answer yes again.
This pleases. We are amidst strange beings. The flow of time itself, the very fabric wavers. There's no telling how much longer your world and mine, but use this to summon and engage in jolly cooperation. Of course, we are not the only one, but I am, if you miss it.
There. About 20 minutes, we have bypassed the first boss. Oh, that door there is what is unlocked by the key I told you to pick up earlier. Now, while the dragon's not here, we're going to, one final thing, we're going to activate the Shrine of Sunlight. That's just the hero of this walkway. There we go. This number one, it will become a fast Number two, we can open this shrine, which is the closed portcullis I mentioned earlier. And number three, out here, this is the Shrine of Sunlight. This is where you join the Warriors of Sunlight, Solaire's Covenant, the Sun Bros. Now, it will only show up as an artifact for you to kneel before if you meet the requirements, and I think that's 24 or 25, I think it's 24 page. But that number decreases by 5 for every successful co-op match you've been in. Well, that's me done for now. I'm going to kill this video before you see me getting killed. It'll be a bit